Are you looking for the best DSLR cameras? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best cameras on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Canon EOS Rebel T7/EOS 2000D. If you're on an even tighter budget and don't want to risk buying a used model, the Canon EOS Rebel T7/EOS 2000D is one of the best cheap options you can buy new. At this price point, build quality feels cheaper and more plasticky than pricier models, and you don't get anything fancy like weather sealing or even a tilting screen. However, underneath that modest exterior is a high-resolution APS-C sensor that's still very capable of capturing high-quality images. Since this is an older, cheaper model than the Canon EOS Rebel SL3 or the Canon EOS Rebel T8i, it doesn't perform as well in dynamic range and noise handling. However, it's still very good for the price, and it uses the same lens mount with plenty of lens options to choose from, meaning you can always upgrade your lens down the line for better results. At number 2. Canon EOS Rebel SL3. The Canon EOS Rebel SL3 is one of the best budget DSLRs you can get and one of the most portable. With a relatively small and lightweight design, it's super easy to take on the go. Its simple control layout is accessible to newcomers, and it has a fully articulated touchscreen to help you shoot at different angles. It also uses the same APS-C sensor found in the Canon EOS Rebel T8i, so image and video quality are comparable. The biggest trade-off here is a much more rudimentary autofocus system. Some people may also find the larger grip on the T8i more comfortable. If you're new to photography, the Nikon D3500 is another great budget option. Nikon's ultimate beginner camera is even more stripped down than the SL3, with no articulated screen and no 4K video capability. However, it has a unique guide shooting mode that teaches you the ropes as you shoot. If you've never used a dedicated camera before, it's an excellent starting point, but if you want a budget model with more features, the SL3 is the way to go. At number 3. Canon EOS Rebel T8i. While the Canon EOS 90D delivers enthusiast-level features at a more reasonable price than a full-frame camera, an entry-level model like the Canon EOS Rebel T8i will cost you even less while offering plenty for beginners and intermediate photographers. It doesn't have as many bells and whistles, like a top display or weather sealing, and has fewer physical controls. However, you get an APS-C sensor that can capture high-quality images. Plus, the camera uses the same lens mount as the higher-end Canons above, giving you plenty of options to choose from. The camera can also record 4K video, has an excellent autofocus system, and has a very good battery life. The Nikon D5600 is also worth considering in this price range, especially if you need something more portable. However, it isn't as well-rounded, with no 4K video capability and less reliable autofocusing. Overall, the T8i is one of the most full-featured beginner DSLRs around, and it's a great option for those who want a camera that falls in the sweet spot between budget and higher-end models. At number 4. Canon EOS 90D. If the Canon EOS 6D Mark II is out of your price range, stepping down to a crop sensor model like the Canon EOS 90D will save you a lot of money without sacrificing too many features. Unless you need the best image quality and lenses for professional use, you likely won't notice a huge difference in image quality with an APS-C camera, except maybe in low-light situations, where full-frame models have a slight advantage. Still, this camera has a high-resolution sensor that can capture stunning images, along with a very good autofocus system. It's newer than that of the 6D, meaning you get both face and eye detection for more precise focusing. It can also record 4K video if that's a must-have for you. Like most Canon DSLRs, it has a highly intuitive user interface and controls, making it easy for experienced and novice users alike. It's also well built, with a weather-sealed body and top display to easily keep an eye on your settings, and of course, battery life is excellent. Overall, you'll get high-end features and performance with this camera, but without the same caliber of build quality as pricier models and with the usual trade-off in low-light performance that you get with a crop sensor camera. At number 5. Canon EOS 6D Mark II. The Canon EOS 6D Mark II is a great full-frame option that's much more affordable than the Nikon D780. It isn't quite as tank-like as the Nikon or the Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, which sits above it in Canon's lineup. However, it's still well-built, weather-sealed, and has plenty of physical controls that make adjusting settings on the fly easy. While the D780's newer, backside illuminated sensor gives it an advantage in areas like noise control and dynamic range, you'll still get amazing photos out of the 6D, and it has a solid autofocus system to boot. The biggest trade-off here is that it can't shoot 4K video. You also lose out on a secondary SD card slot and headphone jack. Ultimately, it's primarily a photography camera, whereas a higher-end model like the Nikon offers better video capability for hybrid shooters. If you can live without 4K, however, this is still an excellent photography camera for the price.